I am Rory Monahan, and I will be showing you Microsoft's App V. Microsoft's App V is Microsoft's application virtualization technology. The basic concept of application virtualization is to separate the software applications from the operating system layer, and to also isolate each application. This will result in significant reduction in management and support overhead for the enterprise. You see, by isolating applications, you eliminate the possibility of applications conflicting with one another. An example of this is the old issue of DLL hell, which occurs when an application installs a new version of a DLL file which overwrites an old version or a system file, thus breaking applications that required that old file or system file. AppV also does not install application files to your actual local drive, which prevents possible issues of users accidentally deleting files which are required for the application to work. AppV also offers the possibility to use application streaming, which turns applications into a service. Applications can be easily and quickly deployed to users. No installation is required. No reboots are required for applications that would typically require a reboot during installation. Applications are now deployed seamlessly, unbeknownst to users, making software management a whole lot slicker and efficient with no user downtime. So, what software do you actually require to set up AppV? MDOP, which stands for Microsoft Desktop Optimization Pack, is a suite of applications or tools that can be very beneficial to the enterprise. The tool set includes MEDV, which is Microsoft Enterprise Desktop Virtualization, UEV, User Experience Virtualization, Advanced Group Policy Management, DART, which is Diagnostics and Recovery Toolset, and also MBAM, which is Microsoft's BitLocker administration and monitoring tool. But also included in MDOP is AppV. MDOP is available at a very good rate for all Microsoft Software Assurance customers. AppV components include the management server, which gives the ability to manage applications you choose to stream, including, what users gets, what virtual application, allows you to seamlessly remove applications from users' machines. The streaming component is used for actually streaming the applications to the user's machines. It's used in conjunction with the actual management piece, but can also be used separately in scenarios in which you may not actually want the full management console setup. The AppV sequencer is the tool which is used to convert your current Windows applications into a virtual application. So you take your setup.exe or your MSI installation or even some other legacy installation, and you carry out what's known as an AppV sequence to convert your application into the new virtual format.
The client is the catalyst of AppV. This is the agent which enables users to stream applications from the server and launches applications into their own special virtual environments. Sequencing applications. So what are the requirements for sequencing? Sequencing requires a machine which you can revert to a clean state after you complete your application sequencing. Now, clean in this case means in a state in which it's as though nothing has been sequenced previously on the machine. You should also use the AppV sequencer setup.exe, which for version 4.6 SP1 means getting hotfix 3, which is available from the Microsoft support page, as Microsoft did update the setup.exe for this release. Sequencing can be a streamlined process requiring very little input. Therefore, it does not take a lot of time and effort. The sequence usually takes no more than 10 minutes more than the length of your actual application installation. For larger applications, it may take a little time to save the sequence when completed. This is because the application sequencer compiles the files and registry into a virtual file system and virtual registry. As I stated earlier, AppV provides application isolation, meaning no other apps can see the virtual application. No matter if your application that requires to see your virtual application has been locally installed on your machine or is another virtualized application. That's right, your virtualized applications by default cannot see and interact with one another, and that is by design. So the scenario may arise in which you have an application that is dependent on another application to work. So if you virtualized both of those applications, by default they cannot see each other and will not function. That's when you use Dynamic Suite Composition, or DSC, to allow the apps to see each other in their virtual environment. If you know you have one application that is required by many applications, you simply sequence that application and then use DSC to allow the dependent applications to see it. For every application, the developer should know every dependency that application has before they commence with the sequencing work. That means there is a level of planning and organization required before you begin virtualizing your applications. An alternative to using Dynamic Suite Composition is simply virtualizing multiple applications together. That means when you're doing your sequence, you get all the applications that are dependent on one another, say maybe 2 or 3 applications which have interoperability, and you create them as one virtual application. By doing this, all the files are in the one virtual file system and all the virtual registry can be seen. So the application will work as expected. Now the downside of this is you're possibly duplicating work if you have one common shared dependency that's required by a lot of applications, and you then therefore have to sequence that time and time again for each application that requires it. Also, if you're sequencing multiple applications as one virtual package, you're essentially increasing the file size and size of that virtual application. So managing disk space could become an issue. Also, if you're using application streaming, your performance could be impacted on because you're then streaming a large size application from the server. So what are your deployment options? Citrix XenApp integration is available. This allows you to deliver your AppV applications using the Citrix XenApp receiver. You also have the option to present or publish your AppV applications to the users through the Citrix web interface if required. There's also SCCM 2007 R2 and SCCM 2012 integration. It's also possible that you will use the full AppV streaming method, which, in my opinion, and I don't think it's even debatable, is the most full and best experience you can have using AppV. It gives you all of AppV's full capabilities and allows you all the benefits which I have previously mentioned. Other than that, if you don't have the funding or money to invest in the backend, so the servers that are required for allowing streaming, or possibly you don't have XenApp or Citrix to integrate with, you may not even have SCCM to integrate with. You may just have some other application deployment mechanism, or you may even just manually install applications onto your users' machines. In which case, if you still want the benefit of application isolation, you can deploy your AppV applications in an MSI format. So it basically installs the application using an MSI, but your application doesn't get installed to the C drive. The files aren't installed to the C drive or to the registry. The MSI is actually acting like a wrapper, and it caches your virtual application on the user's machine and presents a shortcut to the application. We'll go into the full AppV streaming and also into the MSI method in the next few slides. So the first design or infrastructure design that I would like to present to you is this lightweight streaming server. Now, earlier I said that you could use the streaming server component without using the management server component. And this diagram illustrates that. So you can see there's a streaming server which is simply streaming applications to the endpoint, be that the desktop or terminal server or what have you. So basically, those three different variations of machines all have the AppV client on them, and the application stream from the server to those clients. The AppV standalone is using that MSI which we earlier talked about. So you take that MSI wrapped virtualized application and just push it down to the user's machine, which has the Microsoft Application Virtualization Client installed on it. By doing this, you get the benefit of isolation without requiring the server to stream the applications from. It's a good alternative if you do not have the money and you're possibly not a large size enterprise, but it still gives you the benefits, or some of the benefits, of application virtualization. Now, the AppV full infrastructure. This is something, I know the topology here is a little bit intimidating because it's quite large and complex. Now, I'm going to demo to you the use of the full infrastructure, so just keep that in mind. But we'll step through a little bit of this here. You can see on the top left, you're taking your Windows application, you're using your sequencer to create a virtualized application. Now you have the option, as you're seeing on the left, to deploy the MSI regularly, just so it doesn't rely on a backend server. You can also see the other method of just using a streaming server by itself on the right. Now what I didn't say there was you may have the option of actually using all of these together if you have branch offices or multiple locations globally or even regionally throughout a country. Now you can see down the middle and towards the back of the diagram, that's more of the full streaming infrastructure. So you can see that there's the Microsoft Application Virtualization Management Console, which is used, as I said, for centrally managing all of your virtual applications. Now, the console links in with an SQL database. It's got its web service, and it also ties into Active Directory. It ties into Active Directory for assigning the applications to users. So you would have Active Directory groups for each application. So you determine, okay, I've got this application and I want these users to get it. You would create an Active Directory group, put the users you want to get, who you want the application to go to, into this directory group and assign the application to them using Active Directory. The database is used for recording the usage information of the virtualized applications and the web service and the database also records the refresh requests from the client. So each time a user's client machine reaches back to the server to stream down an application or check for updates, that's recorded. And you can see again, the streaming servers, both of them, are streaming down to machines that contain the application virtualization clients. It's at this point that I'll point out as well that you can see that you have the option to stream to virtualization terminal servers. So it is a good option in a terminal server environment. There is a client available that works on terminal servers. So you've got the same user experience, the terminal servers, as well as to your regular desktops.